Hi, this is the Teaserking coming to you with the first week of college football, handicapping. I'll go through a few games, and I'll have all the games on the site. I don't really have a college lock this week, but I have a pro lock for week 1, which I will release next week once I make sure everybody got out with no injuries and things like that. Let's go through week 1 in the college. Utah State is getting 3 points against Utah, and I really like Utah State in this game. I think they're the better team. They have very good players returning, good quarterback, and a great defense. The only problem is their coach went to Wisconsin, but their offensive coordinator is the new coach there. I like that they have a real good quarterback. They've got at least four guys on their offensive line returning, and at least 7 guys on their defense returning. So this means they're experienced. They were a very good team last year. They beat Utah, should have beat BYU, and they just were very, very competitive. I really like them as a dog in this situation. The trends point to Utah State here. And Utah is just, they dominated the Mountain West, but when they moved to the Pac-10 and Pac-12 now, they're just really an average team. So I'm not going to say Utah State should be favored because the game's in Utah, but I certainly think this is a very competitive game, and I do like the points and the dog. Next game I want to talk about is Bowling Green laying 4 to Tulsa. It's a very similar game. I really like Tulsa in the 10 in this game. Tulsa's a very strong team, and they've won Conference USA, and they win 9-10 games a year. Good coach, good quarterback. Bowling Green's a good team, but I look at this game even, and I can get Tulsa in 10. It's different. They're not playing Oklahoma. They're not playing Texas, or when the Tulsas go to those big schools, you stay away from them. They get blown out. They just can't match up. But when they're playing a Bowling Green who's the same standard as them, that's when you jump all over them, especially as a dog. Excuse me. So I really like Tulsa getting 10 points. That would be my first big teaser. Is Utah State, Tulsa. You're getting points with teams that probably will win the game. They're not scared to go on the road. They've won bowl games, so this is what the program looks for. So it's just anytime you get a good team with a good quarterback getting points against, and they're in an even game, I like jumping on that. The next game, Notre Dame's laying 28 to Temple. I'm gonna watch this game because Goldstein's gone, their quarterback. So you got Tommy Reese and you got other quarterbacks. They probably won't miss a beat, but because of that, I like to watch the first game. I would think Notre Dame will win big, but it'll take the quarterback a while. So I'm gonna watch that game. Another really strong game that I like is Texas is laying 42 to New Mexico State. Each year in the beginning, I usually can see, a real blowout. I had Stanford over San Jose State a few years ago. Andrew Luck was a senior, and I said they're going to win by 50, and they won by about 53. And I see that here. Texas is laying 42. Texas is really pissed off this year. I mean, they've played terrible for the last few years. They're a veteran team now. They've got a lot of returning starters. New Mexico State's terrible. Just terrible coach, terrible system. And what I like about it is Texas is going to blow them out because they're frustrated. They haven't played well. They want to get the win. The second team wants to prove they're a good team. I look at this as Texas is going to get 69-0 is going to be my prediction in this game. They're going to pound them. They're going to have 35-40 points by halftime. The second stringer will get the other 20. Mexico State won't move the ball on this team. They just don't have the talent. And because Texas has been so down, that's why I see it, that they're going to really pound them. If a team, has been good, if Alabama was laying 42, I'd say, they've won the 2 national titles. They'll take it easy, but not here. Texas is going to just, I'm predicting by 69. The next game, which is similar to this, is Nebraska laying 27 to Wyoming. Wyoming's a little bit better than New Mexico. They have a good quarterback, but I look at this game and Nebraska will win by 40. They're laying 27. You chop them to 21. I just love Nebraska's offense. Their running back, Abdullah, the quarterback, Martinez. He should be healthy now. He gets hurt in the year a lot, but he should be healthy. I just see him pounding the ball down their throats. Wyoming can't stop them, and they're just going to score early and often. And this will be another like 49, give Wyoming 10, 14 points. Nebraska's defense is okay, but I just think Wyoming's defense won't be able to stop them, and I think that'll be the key here. And they'll easily get 40. Nebraska's another team that was humiliated last year. They lost the Big Ten championship to a weak Wisconsin team who had lost 3 or 4 games but got in because of the Ohio State problems. And they got killed, and then they got killed in the bowl game to Georgia. So Nebraska's also breathing fire. So that's my next big teaser would be Nebraska laying 21, 22, and Texas laying 36. And I'd pound that one pretty good. I think it's a good combination. My last game is Northwestern laying 5 to Cal, maybe 6. Normally I don't like the Big Ten going to the West Coast. It's very, very unprofitable, and I usually take the West Coast team. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Forgive me. Cal's terrible. They have a new coach. They have the Louisiana Tech coach, so he's a good offensive coach. Problem is, Cal has no quarterback. They're going to be a running team, but their quarterback's a freshman, so you're not going to compete with Northwestern. Northwestern is looking to either win or come in second in the Big Ten in the Michigan State bracket with Nebraska. They've already proven they've won at Nebraska. They certainly can handle Michigan and Michigan State, but I look at here, they got a great quarterback and a very experienced team, and I don't think Northwestern's going to have a problem. If the game was at UCLA, if it was at Oregon State, I would never touch this game. Of course, Stanford, no, I wouldn't, but at Cal, it's not the desert, it's not anywhere the weather's going to be an issue. Northwestern can certainly handle it if it's a rainy day or a windy day. I just think Northwestern's defense will be good, and I think their offense is good enough to win the game. I look at this to be at least a 10-point win for Northwestern, if not more. Again, I don't love the Big Ten going to the Pac-10. Normally I would take the Pac-10, but this is the exception. Yeah, I'll give you one more game. I like Michigan. They're laying 32 to Central Michigan, and Central Michigan is going to start a freshman quarterback. Anytime you got a freshman quarterback, he doesn't know what to do. He's going to turn the ball over. I look for Michigan. At home, they're very, very strong. They cover all the time. You got to lay 32 down to 26. I don't have any problem with Michigan winning by at least 35 to 40 points. They got to get off to a good start. I don't see them being flat for a Central Michigan team. And like I said, Michigan's very good at home. And the last game is I'm going to give you is Fresno State's laying 10 to Rutgers. And I like Fresno State at home laying only 4 points. They got a great quarterback, and they've got a very experienced team this year. Again, this is one where Rutgers is going to the West Coast. I think it's a 10 o'clock game, which puts it really late for Rutgers. Besides that, Fresno State's the better team here. Rutgers graduated a lot of people. I think they had 5 or 6 go to the pros or get drafted anyway. So they're a little bit younger, and I just let me quickly look. I think they're starting a new quarterback. Excuse me while I look. No, they're starting their quarterback Nova. He's back again, but I wasn't that impressed with him. But Fresno State has a much better quarterback and a strong defense here. and I'm not crazy. I got to lay 4. I like to lay less than 3, but I do like Fresno State in this game. So if we go through it, teams in week 1 with a experienced quarterback coming back are Clemson and Louisville, Virginia Tech, Rutgers. I'm not going to go through everyone, but I'll go through the bigger games. TCU, Oak State, Texas, Ohio State, Nebraska, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Fresno State, Boise State, Utah State, Wyoming, Nevada. Now Nevada's quarterback's really good, and he's a very two-dimensional. He can run for a lot of yards also. You got to be careful with that. Nevada's playing UCLA this week, and I really like UCLA's quarterback, but they've lost a lot of players, and I think the spread's a bit high because I think Nevada can score. I think their defense is going to be bad. They got a new coach. I look for Nevada to be a little weaker than normal this year, but the quarterback's good and will score some points. I think UCLA wins this game, but I'm not sure. I think 18 is a bit of a big number. Also, teams with starting quarterbacks returning: UCLA, Utah, Washington, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, LSU. Interesting game. LSU's 4.5 over TCU. I'm not going to play that one. I don't know. These are unknowns. They've lost some talent. Normally in this game I'd take the dog, but I don't know how strong TCU is. LSU always has a good team, so I would say that I like LSU. LSU probably will win the game. Outside of that, the Boise State, Washington. Washington's 3.5. I'm not crazy about Boise's quarterback. I'm not a big fan of Southwick. I thought he was weak when Kellen Moore was there, and I thought he was weak last year. They're trying to blame the offense, so I'm staying away from this. Normally I'd be all over Boise State getting 9.5 points from anybody, but Washington's pretty good this year, and I don't like Southwick. He's got to prove it to me. He started scoring 40s the last few games, and they did beat Washington in the bowl game, but they've lost a lot of defense to graduation. So I'm a little leery here. Boise, until they get a better quarterback, I'm kind of watching. One other key game that I'm looking at is Minnesota laying 14 to Vegas. I really like Minnesota here. I think that Vegas is terrible. Minnesota showed some strength. They had a freshman quarterback who's now a sophomore, and he's very good and he can run. So I see them scoring some points. Vegas on the road is terrible. I think mini -8 will be good, but they're not that powerful of a team. It's hard for them to lay 8. It's more or less you're laying against Vegas here. So I would put a small one on Minnesota laying 8, but not a lot of confidence. I'd rather play Fresno State laying the 4, or the dogs with Tulsa and Utah State. Other interesting games to watch. I'm not going to play is Georgia at Clemson. Georgia's laying 1. You got Clemson as a home dog. I'm not betting against Georgia in this game. I think it'll be high scoring, and the reason I say it is both teams have very good offenses, but Georgia does have the better running back, and if Georgia runs the ball to keep Clemson off the field, you don't know what can happen, but I would think this will be pretty high scoring. Normally I would take the dog, but Georgia's only a 1. I don't like Clemson and only 7 here. The spread's too low to take a dog, so it's going to be a good game to watch, just like the LSU TCU game. A lot of things I do in week 1 are seeing how strong certain teams are and how weak other teams are. Another key game, South Carolina laying 11 to North Carolina. North Carolina should have a pretty good offense from what I can tell, but their defense will be weak. South Carolina's got Clowney, their quarterback's back. South Carolina should win this game. Probably lay the 5 would probably be the way to go. South Carolina really can't afford to lose because they got that tough SEC schedule. So that's the other thing I look at is when teams even in the SEC, play these weak teams, they're going to kill them because they can't afford to lose because they got such a hard schedule. So they focus on these easy games for them. Florida's 23 over Toledo. I mean, I'm not jumping on Florida. I don't like their offense, but they're going to be up. They're not going to, lose this game. But this isn't Urban Meyer's Florida, so I think that spread is a little high. But I do think Florida will win it. One upset I could see is Washington State beating Auburn. Auburn's terrible. Washington State isn't much better, but with Mike Price, the coach, and that offense that he's running, I know he needs a quarterback. But Auburn's so bad, I don't see how they're 14-point favorites. But I'm not touching the game. I don't bet on weak teams like Washington State. I do bet against weak teams, but with strong teams. So I'm not betting that game, but I do. That one could be an upset. And another one that's interesting is Iowa laying 3 to Northern Illinois. I can see Northern Illinois giving them all they want. Iowa's been bad. They're forecasted to be last in the Big Ten. I don't know what's going on there. They have a great coach, but they haven't been doing the job. Northern Illinois lost their coach, but they still have their quarterback, who's record-setting, and I just don't see Iowa blowing this team out. I mean, Northern Illinois got, I think, to the Orange Bowl or one of the big bowls. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one off the top of my head. So they have some experience, and against Iowa is not a blowout team at all. If it was Nebraska, I would not touch it, but against Iowa laying 3, I think Northern Illinois and 9, very good look at it. And that's about it. I'll talk about Alabama laying 20 to Virginia Tech. I like Alabama there. Laying 14. They're going to run the ball down their throats. They can still pass it. Yeah, I know they lost a lot to defense, but they got such good reserves. That's not going to bother them. I don't like Virginia Tech. Their defense will be strong. Their offense is very weak. I don't see them scoring a lot unless they get all these block punts and block kicks and everything. I just think Alabama runs it down their throat, and just to win by 14. I could see that happening. The game's in Atlanta. I don't think matters. Maybe if the game was in Virginia Tech, I could see, they wouldn't kill them. But I just see this as a, Alabama wins in the 20-point range, 20 to 30 points. Not anymore. I don't think it'll be a 44-14 game because their defense, but I think their defense will be okay. Give them a week or two. But Virginia Tech won't score a lot on them. They don't have that type of team. So anyway, I would say the best bet on the board is Utah State in the 9, Tulsa in the 10 in the first teaser, and the next one would be Texas with Nebraska, and then Michigan I would play with Northwestern, and then maybe Fresno State. You could play them with Minnesota or Alabama, something like that. Those are like my best. Wisconsin laying 44 over Mass. Massachusetts is terrible, but I don't like. Wisconsin lost their running back, their quarterback. They got a new coach. A lot of points to, they don't have that offense. They're a power offense. So you got to really score, give Mass 7 points. So you got to score in the 40s. And I don't know if Wisconsin's going to do that. I don't know. I'd give that coach a few weeks. I think he's the best coach in the coaching transfer. He's the Utah State coach. And I just don't get why Wisconsin's coach went to Arkansas. Arkansas will be terrible this year. Colorado might be better a little bit with the San Jose State coach. I think Cal is not going to be very good. And North Carolina State has a Northern Illinois coach, but again, he had the quarterback, so we'll see what he does with the North Carolina State coach. I give that a year or two. I would say New Mexico State got the worst coach. Syracuse, I don't know. I don't look for them to do much. Louisiana Tech got Skip Holtz. He's terrible at South Florida. I don't understand that. Nevada, I don't really like their coach. Utah State should remain. They got their offensive coordinator, so their consistency will be good. He knows the team. Oregon, we've got to watch them. They got their offensive coordinator. It didn't hurt him last time. He knows the system, and we'll see what happens. Purdue, I don't like their coach. Cincinnati, I don't really like Tuberville. And that's probably it. Auburn, we'll see. They got a good offensive-minded coach, but that you got to look at. I think Ohio State will have a good year, and we'll see. You know, Clemson and Georgia will be a key game to see what happens there. Anyway, you keep an eye on the first week. You know, there's some good games, but most of them are going to be blowouts, and we'll see what happens. But you take in a lot. You read the box scores. That's what I do. I look for balance. Who has a good running back and quarterback combination which throws the defense off stride. This way the defense has to play honest, and that's really the advantage. When you just have a good quarterback and or only a good runner, the defense can take that away. So that's what I look for. Anyway, this is the Teaser King. Please go to www.teaserking.com. I've changed the format a bit where now I give you the whole teaser. So I'll give you Utah State +9, Tulsa +10. Instead of listing the teams and letting you put them together, I'm actually putting them together for you. You can certainly take any of the teams and mix them yourself, or let's say you like Texas, you wanted to hear my opinion, and now I'm giving you Texas if you wanted to tease them or play them straight. Maybe you liked, I don't know, Virginia Tech, and I'm giving you Alabama, so you know she wouldn't play that game. I'm trying to get you off of that game. So that's what I'm looking at. So anyway, good luck to you this first week, and I hope you win a lot of money with my picks. I certainly have made a ton over the years, and I just really enjoyed doing the website. Alright, well, have a nice day, everybody. Good luck for this year. Any questions, please comment here, send it to my email, or go on to my site and you can email me there. Alright, good luck, and have a nice weekend.